So you clicked on this video because you want to get ahead. And I don't know your story, but maybe you feel like you're lacking motivation, or you compare yourself to what you see on social media, your friends, and you feel like you're behind. Maybe you've set some goals for yourself, but things just aren't clicking and you're in a rut. I think we all go through these phases in life, so I hope this video gives you some inspiration to help you move forward with where you are. If you're new here, my name is Alice and I'm a chartered professional accountant, and on this channel we discuss personal finance, self-development, digital marketing, and some other life improvement stuff. So do me a favor, thumbs up, turn on that notification bell, consider subscribing to the channel, and let's get into it. So let me tell you this, the first thing to remember when you're trying to get ahead in life is that social media isn't real life. So be inspired, but don't compare. It is very good to be inspired by what you see by other people. But people only put their best versions of themselves and the most glamorous parts of their life onto Instagram. And I understand that it can be a little deceiving. I think the reason why people are kind of depressed nowadays is because of social media. It can be a double-edged sword, and you tend to see these hyper-produced, over-glamorized lives of people on Instagram. People with large followings usually have production teams. They usually have production budgets. They've invested money into the channel, into marketing, right? Even though it may look like a one-man show. So the first thing we're gonna do when we wanna get ahead of other people is to not use social media as any sort of benchmark. Because if that comparison leads to negative feelings, then you're doing yourself more harm than good. Second tip I have is to make sure that your actions always align with your words. The point of self-development is that it starts with you sticking to your own promises and taking action on the things that you promise yourself that you're gonna do. So if you promise yourself that you're gonna wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow, you gotta wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow, whether you want to or not. If you promise yourself that you're gonna go for a walk today, you gotta go for the walk, whether you wanna do it or not. If you promise yourself you're gonna go to the gym tomorrow, you gotta go do it, whether you want to or not. I promise you that just by being someone who does what they say and say what they do, this already puts you in the far second half of the curve. It all starts with your actions at the micro level. You promise yourself you're gonna read a book, but you don't. You promise yourself you're not gonna scroll on your phone, but you end up doing that. You promise yourself that you're gonna start an LLC today, and you don't. If you can't commit to the micro promises, you're never gonna be able to get to the big things. You can't get to the big goals in life and achieve the big things until you can do all of the small things. You're always going to be left daydreaming about the big thing if you can't even stick with the little small promises that you make yourself. And the difference between success and non-success comes down to the micro actions and the micro promises that you take every single day, the little promises that you make to yourself that you keep every day, compounded over time. To endure whatever emotions that come along with it, then it's just a matter of time. This is a choice and it's a personality trait. If you show up smart every day and you never give up and you adjust your actions based on feedback that you get in order to be better, there is no way that the odds will not eventually be in your favor. Success is sacrifice plus suffering. And I don't mean to scare anyone, but a lot of people talk a big game about what they want to do in life. But when you actually look at what they actually do, they would rather party with their friends on the weekend. They would rather spend their whole weekend hiking and, going out and doing mindless things. They would rather scroll on their phone for 2 hours than use that time to focus on themselves and focus on their goals and get ahead. People would rather do anything in their power to be comfortable than to accept the fact that they need to change, that they need to take action and go through the sacrifice and suffering. If you study anyone who is truly the best at what they do, who's truly in the 1%, the famous ones at least, they sacrifice their whole life and suffer through all sorts of things just to get to where they are. Nothing worth having in life comes without some form of sacrifice and pain. And the more that you're willing to go through those hard times and the difficult emotions, the bigger the wins are that you experience in life. Taking fast action and executing quickly is very important in getting ahead. This is something that an old friend of mine from school had taught me. This is somebody who broke into investment banking at a really early age. This person taught me the importance of speed of achievement, how critically important it is to achieve faster than everyone else. Because if you want to get ahead of everyone, then you need to do things faster than what everyone else is doing. And it's never too late to get started if you feel behind. I still feel behind all the time. But trust me, just the fact that you're watching this video today is proof to yourself that you're not lazy, you do want to do better, and this already puts you ahead, literally, than half of people. If other people are trying to get internships in their third year of university, then you should be getting them in your first or your second year. I highly recommend reading the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. When people hear Napoleon Hill, they automatically think of Think and Grow Rich, because that's his most famous piece of work. But I actually think that his best work is Outwitting the Devil. Make sure you get the audible version of this book or the audio book. It's much better than the physical copy. But the main concept of Outwitting the Devil is the idea of drifting and how you don't want to spend your life drifting. So to summarize this point, remember that speed of execution, the speed at which you do things absolutely matters, and make sure you check out Outwitting the Devil. Delaying the need for satisfaction and reward is huge. A wise mentor once told me, everything in life is hard. You pick your hard. Working a 9-to-5 is hard. Not working is hard. Starting a business is hard. Not starting a business is hard. Starting a family is hard. Not having a family is hard. Marriage is hard. Balancing time with friends and family is hard. Making money is hard. Not making money is also hard. Everything is hard in life. You pick your hard. If you want to live a life that other people don't have and get ahead, by definition, you have to take the actions and do things that people are not willing to do. If you can't do the things that other people aren't willing to do, how are you going to get ahead? A lot of people live inside their own fear bubble and the security blanket that they've created for themselves with their own thoughts. Remember that hard choices, easy life, easy choices, hard life. If you can work without the need for a reward, without the need for an outcome for a long enough time and can stay consistent enough to do it, there's a very high likelihood that you're going to be able to live a life that other people can't even dream of, because most people need reward in life. Most people talk about all the things that they want to do, but they would rather choose to go through the path of least resistance. So in order to get ahead of other people, you have to pick the hard that gives you the biggest reward and be willing to do the things that other people are not willing to do. And usually these sorts of things will require you to take risk, to feel the fear and do it anyways, and to really learn and understand how to delay the need for comfort, delay the need for reward, and delay the need for gratification. These are the types of things that if you study people who do very well, they all went through it. Being able to adjust to feedback quickly and running what we call a tight feedback loop, or having a quick bounce back time, is huge. This is one thing that I've observed being around some really cool mentors, both in business and also people I've met along the way in corporate, is that they adjust to feedback very quickly. The idea is that you basically fail your way to success, right? So you take action, you get feedback, you adjust your behavior, you take action again, you get feedback, you adjust your behavior, and every time you adjust your behavior, that period of time hopefully gets shorter and shorter and shorter for you to make change. If something didn't happen according to plan or didn't happen the exact way that you wanted it to happen, then make adjustments to your behavior and try again. Keep trying, don't give up. You launch a new product, it doesn't work. What did you learn from it? What can you do to try again? You put out a new offer, it doesn't stick. What did you learn from it? What parts of your landing page or offer do you need to change? Try it again. You try a new content strategy, it's not clicking. Did you give it enough time for the algo to catch up? What did you learn from it? What parts do you need to try to change again? You ask for a promotion at work, boss says no. What did you learn from it? What can you do to change your behavior in the next 3 to 6 months so the next time it's a yes? You apply for a new job, you don't get any responses back. What did you learn from it? What can you do better in your next 50 applications so that the next time you do get responses back? And so the faster that you can dust yourself off, bounce back time, be unemotional about what happened, and just go and try again, the better that you're going to get at it if you keep sticking with it. Sometimes when you're young, it can take a while to pick yourself up from a failure or a mistake and try again. It's almost like every single time you pick yourself back up and try again, your nervous system gets stronger, it gets more adaptable. And the idea is that you're almost like training your nervous system to be able to get better and better and better every time, bounce back faster and faster every time. What used to be a problem 4 or 5 years ago that would take you days, if not weeks to get over, now, you can nip it in the bud in 5 minutes. Time management is crucial. How you manage your 16 hours of waking time a day really dictates the outcome of your life. You've probably heard the famous quote, "Show me your friends and I'll show you your life." And, I agree with that to an extent, but what I like more is show me your calendar and I'll show you your life. Being able to get more out of your day, out of the 16 hours of time you have in a day, first and foremost, is so important. How you manage and spend your time. This one is really hard, but once you get used to it, it will definitely help you get ahead in life. 2 books that I think you're gonna like on this one. The first is 12-Week Year. This book is really good. The idea is that you're splitting up a year into 4. So instead of seeing a whole calendar year as a year of the things that you can get done, it's challenging you to think of every quarter as a year. The idea is to challenge your thinking to push ahead and potentially get 4 times more done in a year than most people do. So check out 12-Week Year if you haven't done so before. Another book that I read last year is The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. This one is like part motivational, but it also had some really good takeaways as well. And the idea is that you would split your day up into 3. And when you see your time and every day as actually 3 days, it can allow you to be 3 times as productive. So seeing 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. as one day, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. as another day, and then 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. or whenever you go to bed as another day. This sort of thinking allows you to get ahead and potentially get way more done in a day than the average person. There are gonna be periods in your life where you can't take weekends off. There are gonna be periods in your life where you have to work 12 to 14-hour days. Think about it this way. A couple years of hard work and sacrifice can lead you to live a whole life that other people can't even dream of. So a couple of actionable items that you can take starting today to help you get ahead. The first is to start journaling or writing down your goals every single day. Now, this only takes 10 minutes, 10 minutes a day. And this can change the course of your entire life. Because if you don't consciously remind yourself of where you're going every single day, then you're gonna end up drifting and going through the motions, which leads to nothing. Doing the same thing over and over again, is not gonna get you to where you wanna go. So you can do this on your phone. Sometimes I do this on my phone, but I prefer to do it pen to paper because there's something very powerful about just writing your goals down on paper. But sometimes I do it on my phone if I want to copy and paste the words into a piece of content. And then on top of writing down your goals every day, write down 3 things that you're going to do that will move your life forward and stick to them. This sounds very easy because most people are like, oh yeah, I have to-do lists. I write things down that I do every single day, but it's actually harder than it sounds because it's not hard to do 3 things that you normally do every day. You know exactly what it is that you need to do. If you're watching this video up until this point, I think you know exactly what it is that you need to do, right? Exactly what is actually hard and moves the needle. We're not really accustomed to doing hard things. So 3 hard things a day that move the needle in your life is actually a lot harder than it seems. And remember that what is hard at first always gets easier when you're learning new things. When I'm learning something new or working through something that's really difficult for me to get through, sometimes I can only put one thing on my to-do list. And I block out the entire thing just to focus on that one thing that will actually move me ahead, not just like a random thing that, I do every day that, doesn't really add that much value to my life. Next thing you can do immediately is to stop doom scrolling, to block or delete the apps on your phone that cause distraction, and to be very conscious of your screen time and how much time you're spending on your phone and scrolling. If you're really hardcore, then you can put your phone locked away in a desk while you work, but most people spend way too much time on their phones, scrolling and kind of wasting their life away. Call this a social media detox, call it a dopamine detox, whatever it is. Just be conscious of how much time you're spending on your phone because, just consumption of information and consumption of content doesn't really mean much until you actually take action on it. Phones and computers and technology, it's a double-edged sword because it's great, but it's also so distracting. It's so distracting, and you can easily spend 3 to 4 hours a day on your phone doing mindless things, not even realizing, where time has gone. Speaking of time, the last takeaway that you can do starting today is to do a time audit. So do a time audit of how you're currently spending your time. What are you spending your time on? How many hours do you spend doing certain tasks every day? What do you do all day long? Where can you optimize your schedule? People who make millions of dollars have the same 16 hours a day that you do. And the difference is that they are quite literally spending their 16 hours a day differently than you are. So make sure you do a time audit and see where you can cut down on or where you need to spend more time on. A lot of people say that, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. If something is important to you, then you have to create time. You have to find time for the things that are important. If I identify an opportunity or something that I define to be important and helps me achieve my goals, literally open my calendar and do whatever it takes, move whatever needs to be moved around to do the things that I know I need to do to get to where I want to go. And the last takeaway or actionable item is just to have a clean and distraction-free environment, because your mind is as clean and clear as your physical surroundings. If you have a messy environment, a messy desk, a messy house, a messy office, it's gonna be hard to focus and you're gonna have less energy. Energy is incredibly important, right? And it can be hard to have a lot of energy. On the topic of a time audit, try to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every day. Intermittent fasting also helps a lot with energy. Keeping carbs low during the day. I personally like this, especially the sugary stuff. The sugary stuff makes you tired, it makes you low energy. Then you end up spending a couple hours on your phone. Maybe your house is a mess and then you're wondering, why you can't get the things done you need to get done. You're wondering why you're behind, wondering why you never have time to do anything. So it all kind of is a domino effect, but it starts with, your daily routine, your schedule, sleep, and just being really conscious of your time, and also having a really clean and clutter-free environment. If you liked this video today, make sure you check out my other video that I'll leave up here on the 8 different ways that you can make money online in 2024. This video really complements that video, as this is like the mindset and habits piece of it. There are so many different ways to make money online now and get ahead financially in today's day and age. Make sure you check out that video up top. If you have any questions related to this topic that I'm talking about today, then make sure you leave them down in the description box below. Let me know what you're doing with your daily habit, your daily routines, your mindset to get ahead. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time.